Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting. My name is Carl the Cobra Froch, former unified super middleweight world boxing champion and International Boxing Hall of Famer. I once rendered somebody unconscious as well in front of 80,000 fans at Wembley Stadium. This episode is brought to you by Cobra Casino. Right, so let's go straight into it. Oleksandr Usyk, Daniel Dubois, the rematch at the weekend, Wembley Stadium, 79,000 fans, and it was a big fight. Everybody was watching it, some big stars there, but the big question now that everybody's talking about is, did Daniel Dubois quit? Now, I alluded towards that ever so slightly on my immediate reaction video. If you've not seen it, post-fight reaction video, it's doing massive numbers. And I did say that first punch that clipped him, the right hook, side of the head, he kind of chose to go down. He consciously went down. And that's not good for me. Sometimes you've got to take a knee. Sometimes you're banging trouble. I've never done it myself. I've never been down. I never chose to go down on one day. I got dropped twice in my career. Jermaine Taylor dropped me in round 3. I got up to win. And George Grove dropped me in round 1 of our first fight. And I got up to win. Daniel Dubois chose to go down. He's done it before. He did it against Joe Joyce. And he did have a fractured eye socket, to be fair to him. So he saved himself for another day. But he went down to a jab in the first fight of Usyk. And people are saying, look, did he quit? Did he not quit? Well, he went down to a jab and he stayed down. He waits till the referee gets to 9, then he stands up and walks back to his corner. So that's a quit. That's letting yourself off the hook and deciding not to go down. Now listen, I've been in the ring. I know what it's like I've said. Jermaine Taylor done me, Groves done me. But I got off the floor. And Daniel Dubois doesn't climb off the floor with any intentions of winning. I feel like inside his soul, he doesn't like the feeling of not being on top. I mean, Tony Bellew calls him a bully, like a front foot fighter. If he's on top, he's happy and he's landing shots and he likes to be in charge, like most of us do when we're fighting. We don't like it when it's coming back. We don't like it when we're under the cosh. But you have to fight back. But if I'm totally honest, if I'm going to answer the question, did Daniel Dubois quit? Yes, of course he quit. Because when he went down the second time, and he got caught with a good shot, by the way, and on reflection, looking at it back the second time, the first time I saw it, I thought he was done, rendered unconscious, out and gone. But I watched it once, and then I got out of there. I was watching it on the big screen, a few friends were there, and I got out of there. I've watched it back since, and actually I didn't realise he was down, and he was conscious. He wasn't unconscious out cold. He was corpus mentis, as they say. He was looking at his corner. He could see the referee quite clearly was in front of him. 4, 5, fingers and voice, loud and clear, and he was looking at him and looking at the corner. 6, 7, you've got to be up, you've got to be standing up and at least attempting to get onto your feet and convince the referee, tell the referee you want to carry on fighting. This is an undisputed heavyweight title fight. He may never get this opportunity again. Why the fuck would you sit it out? In my world, you don't sit it out. I know there comes a time it's fight or flight, and some of us are fighters, some of us don't want to fight, some of us want to run for the hills. Daniel Dubois is a boxer. He knows what he signed up for. And at that moment in the boxing ring, as a professional fighter, you have to climb off the canvas. You have to pick yourself up and go out all guns blazing, go out on your shield. As far as I'm concerned, anyway, there's an opportunity there for him to get up and just have a swing up. He's a big puncher. He's a big, strong man. And who knows, if he'd have stood there and just had a swing up, just gone out swinging, he might have caught Usyk, might have clipped him and hurt him and turned the fight around. We've seen great fighters over the years. Look at Diego Corrales when he climbed off the floor 3 times. And he ended up winning against Castillo. I mean, that was unbelievable. The referee could have stopped the fight a couple of times, but he carried on fighting, kept believing in himself, punched back and got the win. And I did it against Jermaine Taylor. I also did it against George Groves in the first fight. And there's many fighters that have done it before and since then that are world champions. To be a world champion, to reign as a world champion, you have to climb off the floor. The spirit has to be willing to get up there and fight to the death. And it sounds harsh, but it's true. You've got to be able to put your life on the line and show people that you want it that much. You're prepared to go out swinging. You can't just sit on the canvas. He was like leaning on his elbow, looking around. He saw the ref got to 8 or 9. He did in the first Usyk fight, and then he decides to stand up. There's a moment where Usyk's got his hands in the air and he's about to drop to his knees because he's won and he's celebrating. And Daniel Dubois is just casually strutting past him, looking at him. So he's okay, he's walking back to his corner. When Groves got off the canvas after I flattened him at Wembley Stadium, he stumbled back to his corner, fell into the ropes and slumped into the corner. He was absolutely gone. For Daniel Dubois to just stay down to 9 and then walk back to his corner casually, for me, it's not good enough. And I don't think that kind of attitude and that kind of mindset in professional boxing will allow you to reign as a champion. I mean, he won the IBF title. It became vacant, didn't it? So he got elevated to IBF, and then I sort of said, listen, he deserves to be a world champion now. He's a bona fide world champion because what he did to Anthony Joshua, he absolutely ironed him out, and for me, became a world champion then. IBF world champion, knocked out AJ, deserves to be a world champion. But to remain a world champion and to reign as a world champion, there's going to be hard moments in there where you don't want to be in there. Your body's telling you one thing and your mind's telling you something else. And you're thinking to yourself, for fuck's sake, I've signed up for this. This is tough. But you have to be instinctively on your feet, telling the referee, look, I'm ready to carry on. Let's go. Fight to the death. Go out on your shield. That's just the warrior's mind and the warrior's instinct. And if the spirit's not there and that's not in the mind, then that's only going to ever take you so far. So I don't want to beat him up. I don't want to be out of order with him. But my honest opinion is that Daniel Dubois decided not to climb off the canvas. So for me, that's a quit. Listen, it's not all just one-sided, and this is where I want to be fair. This is a nuanced situation. And what I mean by that is it's not black and white. There's shades of grey. You don't know what the fighter's going through. You don't know what's in his mind. You don't know how his mind ticks, how he operates, how he's feeling physically, if there's any problems. Like when he quit against Joe Joyce, it ended up being a fractured eye socket. So people that were saying he quit then was told, hang on a minute, he's fractured his eye socket, he saved himself for another day. Yeah, fair enough. But he wouldn't have known for a fact his eye socket was fractured at that moment. So, you know, we don't know what the fighters are going through. We don't know what they've been through on the build-up, how the training's gone, and we don't know what his relationship and his communication was like with the corner work, which we'll get into in a minute. So let's have a look at the knockdown, and then I'll break it down for you. Right, so here's the first knockdown. Let's have a look. So the toe-to-toe here, they're in range. Dubois landing a couple, he's landing a short right hand, then he tries to land another right hand, and Usyk blocks it. He's got Usyk back on the ropes, and then Usyk sort of touches him with a right hook. See, Dubois tired there, and he's not having much success, and then the right hook comes over and clips him on the side of the head. And I feel like, did he go down there without wanting to go down, or did he choose to go down? Let me just have another look at that. I'm just playing that again. Have a look. Little clip on the side of back of the head. He was stumbling, but he was looking away, and then he sort of stumbled to the ground and went down. He's breathing heavy on the floor, looks at his corner, and he climbs up. He's not hurt here. He's sort of smiling with his gumshoe coming out of his mouth, and he's ready to go. He keeps looking down at his corner. He should be looking at the referee, telling the referee is all right. He should be looking at Oleksandr Usyk. Then he walks in another little right hook. Usyk touches him with a right hand. Daniel Dubois throws the right hand, and Usyk, master genius on his feet. Little short shuffle to the left, little sidestep to the left. And that opened up the big left overhand cross. He calls it Ivan, and Ivan came and fucking flattened him. But I didn't realise, actually, on reflection, on the night, I thought he was done and dusted and finished. But looking at it on here, he was on the floor, leaning on his elbow, like he was relaxing, fully awake, looking at the corner. He should be looking at a referee and seeing where the ref's at. The ref was on 4, 5, 6. He's still lying there. When I got dropped by Jermaine Taylor, I didn't know where the fuck I was until I woke up after about 4 or 5 seconds. And then it was, well, actually, no, that was the first fight with Groves. With Jermaine Taylor, I was down and my leg was a bit funny twisted. I was on my arse. So I was split second unconscious, because that's what happens when you get chinned. You're unconscious for a split second, and then when you go down, you wake up and you think, fuck's sake, what's happened? I've been hit with a shot. And then the first thing in your mind should be, I'm getting up, I'm gonna box on, I'm gonna fight on. I thought, cheeky bastards just fucking done me. That was my mindset. Let's go. You tell the referee, yeah, I'm fine, let's go, let's continue. You look at the referee in his eyes, don't stop the fight. That's what I said to Howard Foster, don't stop the fight, I'm all right, let's go. Because I want to fucking carry on. I want to get the fighter back. I want to get the opponent back and hit him like he's just hit me. Daniel Dubois was on the floor, and he was chilling, wasn't he? He was chilling, just like on his side. Let me go back to it. So he's on his side here. I'm just watching this back now again. Let's have a look. The referee's on 2, 3, 4. He's breathing heavy. He's on his side. He could jump up here now. 5, 7, 8, 9. It's no good. He could have been up on 5 there. 5 or 6, he could have got up and he could have carried on. Round 5, awake, looking at the corner and listening to the ref, he stayed on the floor. He stayed down. He needs to get up. He needs to get up. And he might have saved himself for another day. But and people will say, listen, Usyk's brilliant, and he is. Usyk is brilliant. Usyk's one of the best in the business today. I don't want to say he's the best and the all-time great, and he's now all of a sudden, because he beat Dubois again, he's the best fighter of all time in any generation, because he's not. It might turn out that he is. As the years go on, you'll look back and say, fucking hell, how good was Usyk? Real top fighter. But based on beating Daniel Dubois, who didn't get up after that shot in round 5 for an undisputed title, you can't really say he's the greatest of all time, but he is fantastic. It's phenomenal what he did. That little short step to the left, waited for Dubois to throw his right, and then he countered it with Big Ivan over the top and fucking hammered him. I mean, that was a stroke of genius. He's in the moment and he's under the heat. He's up close, and Dubois is a big puncher, and he's able to, as he threw that long Big Ivan over the top, he still had his right glove tucked into his side of his chin. The discipline to be throwing a big overhand left and keep that right glove tight in case of the left hook coming back at you or a short uppercut. He's just so well schooled and so disciplined in everything he does. Everything is to a fine tune, Oleksandr Usyk. So difficult to catch. His head movement, his little feet movement off to the side. And I think Daniel Dubois probably just felt completely overwhelmed and outclassed in there. And when he got dropped, he just thought to himself, you know what, I'm not going to win this fight. I'm not doing it. I want to go home. I want to go back to that party that he had before. We'll get into that in a minute, but apparently there's a bit of a party before he went to the venue. Maybe he wants to just go back there and chill out and relax. But for me, if you're fighting for an undisputed heavyweight title and you get dropped in round 5 and you're not unconscious, unable to carry on, then you're getting up and you stand on your 2 feet and you fucking go out fighting. You stand by your shield and you go out swinging. He's a big, strong heavyweight, which I've already said. He could have clipped Usyk. Just make it hard for him. And then the fans will get behind him and say, oh, at least he had a go. He had a right swing up there, but he didn't. He stayed down. He climbed up on the 9th, 10th second, and he walks back to his corner while Usyk's celebrating, and the fight's over. For me, not good enough. I don't want this to be a beat-up Daniel Dubois session. I don't want to just call him a quitter because, like I said earlier, it's nuanced. You don't know what's going on through his head. You don't know where his mind and how his body feels in that ring. But for me, if you're not unconscious, fucking stand up and get on with it. Right, so I mentioned there that Daniel Dubois wanted to get back to this party that he'd left. Now, apparently Don Charles, his trainer, said it was a gathering. And he's done it before. He's had these gatherings before big fights. He did it before AJ, and he got the job done against AJ. But I can't think of anything worse as a fighter, having people around the house that you don't know. And you're having to talk to them and try and mix and socialise. You're not in party mode. You're in fight mode. You're in, I could be walking to a certain death mode here. This is the hurt game. This is a dangerous, hard sport where people get seriously injured in there. And when you're fighting, you want to be in the mode of fight mode. Let's go. I'm going to battle. I'm going to war. I'm a fucking warrior. I'm going in there to do some damage and potentially getting some damage done to me. Now, if you're socialising, you're having a drink, you're having a smile and a laugh, and you've got a load of plastic gangsters around you, because I've seen a few social media clips of a few people on there, all like strutting around, giving it the big one with the caps on, and like the American type dress wear. And I'm thinking to myself, if he didn't know half these people, because apparently he didn't know him and he wanted to go for a drive, so he went for a drive, then he don't feel comfortable in that situation. He should be 100% comfortable and looked after, and everybody asking him, are you all right? Right, do you need anything? Do you need some water? Have you got all your kit? Get everything ready. Go through your rituals, or whatever, if you're not superstitious, but bottom line is you want to be at that arena with a couple of hours minimum to get your kit ready and get settled. The drug testing officer might be waiting for you, so you've got to do a urine sample. It all takes a bit of time. So rather than being at a gathering or this party that he's at, surely he should be at the venue just relaxing, meditating, focusing, visualising winning, thinking about how hard it's going to be to beat somebody like Oleksandr Usyk, who's just beat Fury again for the second time. He's beat AJ twice. He's already done He's done Dubois once. He's got to be surely going through his game plan and visualising the ring walk and getting himself mentally in tune and on point for the big ring walk and the fight. Now, he can't do that if everyone copes with things differently. Some people like to be and take the mind off it and not think about it too much because they get nervous. But for me, I just think Oleksandr Usyk was there an hour before him. He got to the venue with I don't even think he had 90 minutes when he got there to then prepare. Apparently there was some sort of altercation on the door where there was a big crowd of people that wanted to get in, and they told the security, listen, if these don't come in, the fight's off. So it's almost like a load of hangers-on, just milling around thinking that they're part of this big show. But bottom line is, the only person that's important out of all this is Daniel Dubois. He should be the one that's being looked after and make sure that he gets to the venue on time and he does everything he needs to do to give himself the best possible chance of winning. This is an undisputed heavyweight title fight against one of the best to ever do it, Oleksandr Usyk. And he's pissing around going for drives because he don't know anyone at the party, and then he's getting there late, and then there's a bit of bullshit on the door. Like, it's not fucking good preparation. Are we going to blame Don Charles? Or are we going to blame his dad? Or they're going to say, oh, he did this before and it works for him. Well, it didn't work for him this fucking time, did it? And I'm swearing because I'm a little bit pissed off because Daniel Dubois had an opportunity here to go in there and really just make his stamp on the game. And if he loses to Usyk, and I don't think if he'd have climbed off the canvas and carried on, I don't think he would have won. I'm not saying that. There's a chance he could have won. He could have landed a big pisser right hand straight on the chin of Usyk and rendered him unconscious. I doubt it, but it's possible. But by staying down, that's like folding your hands. You're never going to know, are you? You folded, you're out the game, the pot somebody else. Someone else is taking the money. You're going home. And that's what he did. He chose to stay down. And I just think the build-up to everything, to that point where he got clipped on the chin, is not in the right frame of mind. He can't be. So the whole build-up, I don't know who to blame. I don't know what's right and wrong because I don't know his team. I don't know how he usually operates. But for me, there was a lot to pick fault with on the build-up to that fight and during the fight and not climbing off the canvas and just everything with his dad. Why is he looking at his dad for help in the corner? Don Charles is his trainer. Rob McCracken was my trainer. When I got dropped by Jermaine Taylor, I looked over at Rob McCracken and I gave him a little nod. I'm all right. I'm sweet. You know what I mean? I wasn't. I was fucked. But I'm saying to him, I'm sad. And he's like, just take a breather. It took me 8 seconds. I got up and I carried on. Daniel Dubois was sitting there looking confused. He wasn't really listening or watching the referee. He waited until the ref waved it off and then he stood up. Or did he wait till 9 seconds and then stood up? He knew it was over and then he stood up and walked back to his corner. If you can stand up and walk back to your corner, you can stand up and have a swing up. Have a last little fight for them unified belts that you want so badly. That's all I'm saying. And it's frustrating and it's annoying. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. Like I said, I don't know members of his team. But for me, that is not good enough. Listen, let me just summarise it and just wind my neck in a little bit because I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there. I don't know if you know, but I'm very passionate about this sport, boxing. And when opportunities come around, I just think fighters should take the opportunity and take it with both hands and fucking go out on the shield. Listen, fighting isn't just always about skills. It's about will. And sometimes the fight isn't with your opponent. It's about what's going inside your own body, what's going on in your head. And that's why this moment where Daniel Dubois is on the floor is so powerful because it shows how brutal the sport can be. And listen, he's done what he's done. He will live to fight another day. He's a young man and he will come back and he'll probably come back stronger. But in this moment and the way this all happened and the result and the way the result was brought on, it's going to bring questions and everyone's going to call him a quitter. He's done it before with Joe Joyce. He's done it before with Usyk without a jab and he stayed down. Now he's done it again. So he's going to have this reputation now of being an on-top fighter, a bully fighter. And when it's not going his way, he just throws in the towel and quits. And that brings me on to Don Charles, actually. He threw the towel in with... The referee was on 9 seconds. Why throw the towel in on 9 seconds? I mean, what's the point in that? If you're going to throw the towel in when Dubois gets flattened. And then you're saying, listen, I'm pulling my guy out. I'm going to save him for another day. So to throw it in like on 8, 9, and he threw the towel in, for me, that was just pointless. I don't know what he was thinking there. Maybe he panicked or maybe he wanted to look like he was being compassionate. But that was a load of shit. The towel should have stayed in the corner because you shouldn't pull your man out at that stage because he was able, fit, and it was possible for him to continue. So Dubois should have carried on and he should have continued. And Don Charles chucking the towel in for me made no sense at all. Right, that's it for another episode of Froch on Fighting. I just felt like I wanted to get that off my chest. But you let me know what you think. I think I've already asked you, but let me know. Did Daniel Dubois quit or was he just too hurt to continue? It'd be interesting to know your thoughts. I appreciate all the engagement. I appreciate everybody that's... appreciate everybody that's already subscribed. But if you haven't already, hit subscribe. Hit share this with your friends and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. I've got David Hay on later this week. That's going to be a good one. And yeah, we'll see you next time.